I knew I was gonna do a video on this novel eventually. It's one of my favorites. It's about this old Spaniard. Well, I say old, but yeah, back then, oh, to be old would be like 50, so he was about in his 50s. He believes he's a knight errant. He spent years reading books on chivalry about Lancelot and the Knights of the Round Table, stuff like that, romances. And so he kind of goes mad and starts to believe that he's one of these characters. Calls him, his name is Alonso Quijano, but he starts to go by Don Quixote. That's his knight name. And he takes his neighbor on these adventures with him. He becomes his squire, Sancho Panza. And they start to go around the countryside just fighting what they what they believe to be evil doers, and rescuing what they believe to be maidens in distress, which a lot of times turn out to be harlots or prostitutes, in these taverns. And they think the taverns are castles, like what Don Quixote does. Sancho is more of a world-weary guy, and he's more practical. Like, he knows that Don Quixote is not thinking clearly, like, but he, instead of, dissuading him from going on these quests, he follows them with the promise of attaining a governorship. That's what Don Quixote promises them. Like, through their adventures, they'll become famous, and he'll eventually get his own governorship. And ironically, Sancho does eventually get a governorship, but it doesn't turn out very well. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, it's episodic. It's like a picaresque novel, like what was it? Huck Finn, where it's a series of events that aren't really that connected, but it's very fun and it's very emotional. I would say it's a comedy, yes, but it's also a tragedy, especially by the end of the second part. It's broken into two parts. The first part was written in 1605, and then the second part was written 10 years later, and was much more serious than the first part. But it's a very good read. If you ever have time to pick this one up, I highly suggest it.